Oh, hello there. Yes, well, that was the weekend, and this isn't. Yes, indeed. Anyway, yesterday, I was a bit intrigued by. Hi, I'm Peter Whittle from the New Culture Forum because they do this kind of regular thing on Sundays where they interview somebody, and it's usually somebody you've heard of, but this time it wasn't. Yes, it was headlined this: all cultures are not of equal value," said Harry Saul Markham, who's been cancelled for writing about the delusion of multiculturalism. And so I decided to have a look at it because I thought, well, I've never heard of him before, so I thought, what's going on? You know, that kind of thing. So anyway, yeah, he's a writer as well as a student. I mean, I would have thought that if you're a student, then you sort of write a dissertation and then you probably might write stuff afterwards, but apparently he's just a writer who's been cancelled by his publishers just about just literally he was poised and you sign and then no, it's cancelled because it's too controversial. Yes, and don't get to find out who the publisher of that is. And yeah, when he was chatting to Peter Whittle, he was very much saying about how much of a centrist he's a centrist, liberal centrist. Okay, then, yes. And unlike Peter, he was very much in favour of maintaining a multicultural society. And yeah, he was after a national identity and the British identity of their own values. And what else was he saying? Yeah, he's doesn't see the far right as a threat, but he does see kind of Islam and the left as a threat. And he said that the Muslim community had sort of been led into extremism, and yeah, it was British to his core. Remember that? Yeah, it was vote I'm British to my core, and he felt that the a definition of Islamophobia was too narrow, and that Islamophobia was being used by bad people. And so obviously I thought, well, that smells to high heaven. Previously he'd been on Iron Mike's about a day, as far as I can make out, after he'd been cancelled, talking about how he'd been cancelled. Now, think about it, right? Okay, this guy's 24 and he's about to get a book published. Okay. And he's an undergraduate. Okay. But how come he's so enormously well connected that a day after receiving his letter, which he was actually says that he's quite happy about because of the free publicity, he's suddenly propelled into the limelight? He must be surely somebody who's very well connected. So I wonder who he's connected to. Well, when you go through his Twitter feed, it doesn't take long because, I'm that type of person. I can read. So, yeah, he said, I want to reiterate my thanks to everyone who's been incredibly supportive over the past week, specifically to Douglas Murray. Ooh, obviously, yes. And Dr. Stock, transphobe fans, and others. Yes, so not quite the kind of radical undergraduate outsider he might present himself. And then if you do just a standard Google search, I can't even call it a digging really, but let's read this, okay, and start to unpack exactly why it is that he was suddenly talking on Sunday morning to Hi, I'm Peter Whittle. Harry Saul Markham is an undergraduate student at University College London, reading history and Jewish studies, because he's a Jewish bloke, okay? I think he established that pretty much. Where's the Star of David? Jewish bloke. He's also on the advisory board of Academics for Academic Freedom. Yes, which is an organisation which fights for academic freedom. On the advisory board of it. Undergraduate. Okay. Academics for Academic Freedom. Link down below. You can read about them for yourself. Bit of a right-wing organisation, really. Has written for various publications grappling with a range of subjects, including free speech, Islam and anti-Semitism. He frequently gives talks about it to a variety of audiences where he delights in disrupting the orthodoxies of our age. I presume that's just talking about how bad woke things are. I think that's what that's code for. Harry also been campaigning for the Social Democratic Party, yeah, which, Peter Whittle et al. Love because, well, they're a bit right-wing, really, I suppose, and for human rights around the world. Right. Currently, as well as making the most of his year abroad at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem, he spends most of his time working on a book project which explores multiculturalism, Islamism, anti-Semitism, and the rise of populism in Western Europe, you see, which brings us neatly back to the book. But he's also, because he's like 24 and he's still an undergraduate, so he's been zipping around the world at various places, including Jerusalem. Yes, he is the former national director of Huret UK, which is a Zionist organisation. Okay, I'm not being pejorative by saying that. It's a Zionist organisation. So he's very much tied into that sort of Jewish Zionist Friends of Israel type network in the UK, which might start to hint at exactly where we're going here, yeah? And a former critical thinking fellow at the N. Hersey Ali Foundation. As a result of his experience as a Vassal, Martin Luther King Jr. scholar, Harold wants to add his voice to the all-important debate over the future of tolerance, democracy and liberalism in Western Europe. For Harry, the fight against anti-Semitism is about the future not only of Jews, but the very future of our shared humanity. Yes. Ooh, you might think. Yes, indeed, so did I. So he's not just some average bloke off the street, is he? Or indeed just some average undergraduate. And if you dig slightly further, you end up with this, because this is a little piece from when he was 17, okay? Because this kid's been groomed, I think, for this basic moment, okay? He's going to be launched. We'll come back to that concept. So, King Solomon, sixth former Harry, is a proud and dedicated Zionist. See, I told you. Showing courage and determination when speaking about his values to both friendly and hostile audiences. Yeah, that was me there. Yeah. He founded Essex Friends of Israel and Zionist Future. I think they're separate. I couldn't find anything out about Zionist Future, because if you type that into Google, you just get lost. Anyway, which work to inspire and motivate young people to engage with and recognise the importance of Israel. He has been crucial in securing high-profile speakers for both groups, and he's been in contact with previous and sitting MPs in his constituency. His work promotes the welfare of the community, that's the Jewish community, I believe, and educates many about Zionism. Continuously organising Israeli advocacy events and pro-Israel rallies. Harry aims to share the values that are manifested in the Jewish state. Manifested as they are, yeah, and spread a positive Zionist message. You can see where we're going. Harry's energy, passion and dedication is contributing to a vibrant Zionist generation. Yes, indeed, you can see the effects of the Zionist generation currently and all the stuff that's going on in and around Israel. Now, you might think I'm just being vaguely rude about this bloke, and I suppose that I am, because being the cynical git that I am, I can see that this person is extremely well tied in and represents a particular set of interests which are going to be pushed forward. He ended up with Andrew Doyle last night as well on GB News, as well as interview with Iron Mike, yes, who managed to get his name wrong, but never mind, yep, whatever. Yeah, so what's going on here? Well, it's like I've said in the past. The right wing, generically, do not know how to appeal to young people. So consequently, if you get a young person who seems to represent those kind of vaguely liberal values which young people are going to be into, being gay, being a bit okay and sort of carefree, and, you know, talking a little bit of kind of under 25 patois, as indeed he does in a kind of way that makes me as an old person want to beat him to death. But that's just a personal opinion, you know. Leaving that aside, yeah. So he's going to be pushed forward because he will be the acceptable face of British Zionism. That's what I'm guessing in the next few months. We're going to see an awful lot more of this kiddie, Harry, young person-y, whatever, I don't care. I don't care, anyone under 40 is young to me. But anyway, yeah, so we're going to be seeing a lot more of this person because the idea, as ever, right, the idea is we will try and find somebody that's acceptable, right? Like those black presenters on GB News. Just proves they can't be a racist station, you know, because they employ Nana. And this kiddie will come to represent the, well, we can't be fascist because, look, he's gay aspect to Zionism in the UK. Now, he will talk, as indeed he did. Please do have a look at it, just in case I'm making this all up. Link down below, but please do look to it. He will present himself as very much the moderate and wanting, to make sure that we live in a free speech liberal democracy. But everything realistically about his past doesn't really suggest that that's exactly where he's coming from. And as ever, there is that part of me that really dislikes the fact that I know he's playing a game, and he knows he's playing a game, and Peter is playing a game, and Peter knows that he's playing a game, and they both know they're playing a game, and Andrew Murray knows that they're both playing a game, and they know that Andrew Murray's playing a game, but they expect me to be too chuffing stupid not to see it. Well, sorry guys, but no, I don't buy it, I'm afraid. Really don't. So we can expect to see a lot more of this particular one, because they will try and believe that he can somehow represent young people. Except, we have seen young people when they're when people like Sue and the Brave Men try to come face to face with young people, it doesn't end well, because they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. The disconnect is basically the bridge has been burnt, the gulf is too broad, the chasm is too deep, the metaphor has gone on too long. Yeah, that kind of thing, right? Isn't going to happen. Isn't going to happen. And it isn't going to happen with this one either. Anyway, I'll be intrigued to see his book when it finally comes out. Who's the publisher? Who was the publisher? And why? Because I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I wasn't born yesterday. Wish I was. That would be quite nice. Kind of go through all that stuff again. Apart from the childhood. Oh, and puberty. And, well, being young and... yeah, life, actually. Anyway, do have a lovely Monday. Do enjoy. You can tell I'm in a good mood. Anyway, do have a lovely day. Enjoy, because it's suddenly that kind of sunshiny on a cloudy day, month of May business. Enjoy.